I lay naked in a prison cage while the entire capital gathered to watch my humiliation. The adopted daughter of my father, my so-called fourth sister Rowena, poured scalding medicinal broth across my face. My body was already a canvas of crisscrossing scars, flesh torn and exposed. Only my face had remained intact. Now, with that single bowl of boiling liquid, blisters erupted across my skin, oozing pus. Through my agonized screams, I heard Rowena announce to the crowd, "This is the murderer who destroyed 128 lives of the Ashford family, Miss Eliana Ashford, the eldest daughter." Hola, what do you think of our story? Your support is my motivation to keep updating. Feel free to click on the homepage to see more of the full story. Please make sure you are in a comfortable position. We'll begin the main story shortly. Leave a comment below and tell us which city you read our story in. Rotten vegetables and stinking eggs pelted my broken body. All around me, voices hurled accusations of murder, lies planted by the true killer. I simply stared at the furious mob and at Rowena's triumphant, twisted smile. My heart had become still water without ripples or waves. "Do you hate me?" she asked with a laugh. I glared at her but couldn't force out a single sound. "Look, sister, this shoe brocade you loved to wear, these golden hairpins you treasured, this 7-jewel-glazed bracelet you cherished, father gave them all to me." I longed to tear her apart, but my limbs were severed, tendons cut. I could do nothing at all. "Well, let me send you on your way. The young lord is waiting for me." "Oh, if father hadn't interfered, you would have been his wife by now, wouldn't you?" Ha ha ha. In overwhelming grief and unwillingness, my consciousness began to scatter. When I opened my eyes again, strange yet familiar scenes flooded my mind. It turned out that Rowena and I were characters in a wish-fulfillment novel. I was the dazzling protagonist who triumphed at every turn. She was the malicious villainess obsessed with destroying me. After committing countless crimes and meeting her destined end, she had been reborn. But instead of reforming, she chose to continue harming others. Armed with knowledge of the plot, she destroyed my entire family. She stole everything from me and left me to die miserably in the streets. In the blink of an eye, one death, one life. I was reborn on the very day Rowena arrived at the Ashford residence. In my previous life, I resented this newly arrived adopted daughter who had stolen all of father's affection. I made her kneel in the snow for an entire night. Later, when the Ashford family was imprisoned, I regretted it. I wondered if things would have been different had I treated Rowena kindly from the beginning. Now, given a second chance, I made the same choice. I punished Rowena again and forced her to wash my clothes while kneeling in bone-chilling water. When the clothes were clean, I ordered servants to throw them on the ground. My shoes, embroidered with shoe brocade and pearls, stepped directly on her hands. Rowena cried out in pain. "Cry all you want. Father isn't home right now. I rule this household." My dear sister bit her lip as tears fell onto the snow. Quite touching. "Really? Sister, one should always leave room for retreat. Have you considered what father will do when he returns?" I had left that room in my previous life. After punishing Rowena, father despised me. Mother died in childbirth bearing me. After losing father's favor, my days became difficult. At first, I clung to my pitiful dignity and refused to beg. Eventually, I lowered my head to both father and Rowena, and what did that earn me? Laughable. Rowena was always a venomous snake that could never be warmed. With such a viper's heart, what good would kindness do? That time, Rowena developed chronic leg pain from kneeling in the cold at my command. Later, when she tortured me, I regretted not tormenting her more thoroughly. Now, watching her wash clothes in the snow, watching her hands crack and bleed, I smiled. "You've reminded me, I should leave no room at all." I personally lifted the wooden bucket and poured the remaining ice water over Rowena from head to toe. Her screams mingled with an authoritative voice. "Stop this," father had returned. His eyes held only heartache as he quickly removed his sable cloak and wrapped it around Rowena. "Eliana, do you want to die? My biological father wanted me dead, all for an adopted daughter who would one day destroy us all." I wanted to laugh but couldn't make a sound. As they walked away, I spoke up. "Father, what exactly is Rowena's identity?" Father's expression changed abruptly. I understood then. In my previous life, I had suspected Rowena's origins. How could an adopted daughter of unknown background receive such inexplicable devotion from father? Since entering the Ashford residence, I, the legitimate daughter, had become a laughingstock throughout the capital. I had investigated secretly and discovered clues. For instance, father always mourned someone on nights of the full moon. For instance, father called out Celine in his dreams. For instance, when drunk, father would grab Rowena's hand and ask why she hadn't waited for him. "Father, Rowena is your illegitimate daughter with your mistress, isn't she?" Father's face darkened completely as he sternly rebuked me. "Silence, you wretched child, spouting such nonsense. Someone lock her in the woodshed for reflection." All the pieces had already formed an answer in my heart. Whether I asked or not made no difference. I only wanted to test Father's attitude. His defensive anger reaction thoroughly chilled my heart. While I was locked in the woodshed, Rowena came to see me carrying a bucket of water. She poured the ice, cold bone, piercing water over me from head to toe. Smiling sweetly, she said, "Sister, I already told you, one must leave room for retreat." I burst out laughing. Rowena laughed too. "What, have you gone mad?" I kept laughing until she finally looked at me seriously. "Ileana, what are you laughing at?" "I am laughing at your stupidity. Who is the one leaving no room for themselves? Rowena, don't you know? Lord Sebastian of House Fernwood is my betrothed. An adopted daughter like you could never aspire to such a noble house. When I become his wife in the future, have you considered what will happen to you?" Rowena relaxed, her lips curling in mockery. "Unfortunately, I've also taken a liking to Lord Sebastian, and I am determined to have him. Tomorrow at the flower banquet, the position of his fiancée will change hands." I looked up at her with disdain. "With what? A wild girl from the countryside like you dare look down on me? I've never considered you worth my attention, not since the day you entered this house." Rowena was furious. "Tomorrow, I'll make you watch who becomes Lady Sebastian." I wiped water from my face, smiling. I am locked in the woodshed, but my mind is perfectly clear. Are you the one going mad, suffering delusions? You've reminded me. I'll have Father release you so you can witness with your own eyes how I take everything that is yours, piece by piece. I smiled at her, seeing the ambition, ruthlessness, and determination flowing in her eyes. Between us, there was no longer any need for pretense. From day one, I had torn away the facade, compared to my previous life, when I played small, begged and fawned, only to be toyed with by this wolf in sheep's clothing. This was infinitely better. Rowena was vengeful and ruthless. Such people often possessed a kind of confidence, blind confidence. This confidence would help them accomplish great things. Naturally, it would also send them plummeting into an inescapable abyss. If you want me to watch you embarrass yourself tomorrow, shouldn't you give me medicine? If this bucket of cold water makes me sick, I won't be able to enjoy the show. Rowena threw me a bottle of medicine through gritted teeth. "Don't worry, tomorrow, I'll make sure you see the person you most want to see, and I'll make you watch him fall for me." There was indeed someone I most wanted to see, someone who would appear tomorrow. That was why I had been provoking Rowena with words all night, to earn a chance to leave the woodshed. But it wasn't Lord Sebastian of House Fernwood. At the banquet, Rowena stunned everyone in her peony, embroidered waist, tied gown. Amid universal praise, she shyly displayed her exquisite dancing skills. I had discovered before that the capital once had a famous dancer named Celine, who moved the world with a single dance. The daughter of a courtesan had indeed inherited her mother's talents. Lord Sebastian immediately stood up to accompany her dance with his flute. Everyone talked about how perfectly matched they were, completely forgetting my existence as the nominal fiancé. As cups were raised and emptied, Father beamed at the praise for Rowena. "Lord Ashford, you must admit Miss Rowena does resemble you in certain features." Father smiled. "I noticed that too when we first met. I felt it was fate and brought her home." Someone asked an ill-timed question. "By the way, where is your eldest daughter?" "You know, the one renowned throughout the capital who captured Lord Sebastian's heart at first sight?" "Renowned throughout the capital?" That was just a figure of speech before Miss Rowena arrived in the capital. Now if anyone deserves that title, surely it is our Miss Rowena. Haha, quite right, wearing a veil. I sat behind them, calmly listening to them discuss me. Father was Minister of Justice with considerable influence at court. Wherever he looked, the wind followed. Now his gaze focused entirely on Rowena. Naturally, everyone else's eyes followed to Rowena as well. Building her up so high, the fall would be spectacular. I set down my wine cup and spoke lightly. "Fourth sister, your dancing is truly exquisite. I wonder who taught you." Both Father and Rowena's pupils contracted. Father shot me a sharp, ice-cold glare. Rowena touched her forehead, claiming she felt unwell and left under the pretense of needing rest. I wasn't in a hurry to expose her background. I knew she was going to stage a drowning rescue for Lord Sebastian. The moment she left, Sebastian followed. Shortly after, I left too, bringing several maidservants. When I arrived, I saw two people soaking wet and embracing. Sebastian's hand was wrapped around Rowena's chest as he pulled her onto the shore. I said coolly, "You all saw that, didn't you? Go tell everyone exactly what happened." As the maids prepared to leave in trepidation, I added icily, "Tell the truth, and I'll let you leave the household. Conceal anything, and don't blame me for being ruthless." From that day, Rumors spread that Lord Sebastian of House Fernwood had taken liberties with the Ashford family's adopted daughter. Even the details weren't spared, where the young lord's hand had been placed, how the adopted daughter had responded with shy pleasure rather than anger, and so on. In a few days, Rowena's reputation would be ruined. At this moment, she was desperately trying to prove her innocence, while Sebastian swore he would marry her. This marriage between them had somehow become a celebrated love story. Rowena gloated to me, not knowing that I was even happier than she was. "Sister, you've lost." Not necessarily. Rowena was surrounded by several opportunistic noble ladies. This eldest Miss Ashford is truly shameful. Not only has she been completely overshadowed by an adopted daughter, but she has even lost her engagement to a noble house. If I were her, I'd hang myself to avoid bringing shame to my family's name. At least she is clever enough to wear a veil, knowing how disgraceful she is. I smiled at them sweetly. "I wonder how your families would react knowing you associate with the daughter of a brothel woman." Everyone's faces changed color simultaneously. Rowena turned pale with fright, stammering, You are slandering me." I looked only at the noble lady who had suggested I kill myself. "Miss Charlotte, as you said, for your family's reputation you should hang yourself." Miss Charlotte collapsed to the ground, scrambling to her feet. I just remembered there is urgent business at home. I must go." Rowena quickly tried to steady the others. "Sisters, please don't listen to her nonsense. If I were really what she claims, how could my father have brought me into the Ashford household?" Their expressions relaxed slightly. I watched, then spoke unhurriedly, peeling away Rowena's fa. "Aid piece by piece before everyone. The Ashford family has an ancestral rule. Courtesans cannot enter our gates. That is why your mother bore you outside as an illegitimate daughter. The dance you just performed was the signature technique of Celine, the top courtesan at Moonflower House 15 years ago. I've already invited people from Moonflower House. Do you think they'll recognize you?" As my words fell, a shocked voice came from a nearby table. "What? Rowena is the daughter of a brothel woman? Then I definitely won't marry her." Rowena looked at me in disbelief. I said I wouldn't necessarily lose, but you will definitely lose completely." The previously arrogant noble ladies began crying. Some even pointed at Rowena's nose and cursed. "You wretched woman, you've ruined us. What kind of background is this? How dare you associate with us? If you hadn't promised us benefits as the future Lady Sebastian, how would we have fallen for your tricks? Now that the young lord doesn't want you, how will you deliver what you promised us?" I watched, clicking my tongue. Human hearts are unfathomable. When someone is doing well, they're surrounded by good people. When someone falls, those around them reveal their true forms. Rowena's eyes filled with tears of humiliation, but she had no time to care about the embarrassment. She lifted her skirts and rushed into the crowd of men to explain. Before leaving, she stopped and gave me a meaningful look. In that gaze were shock, suspicion, panic, and fear. I waved at her, smiling warmly. "Rather than wondering how I know, you should think about how to please your husband and my father." Rowena sneered coldly. "Since you know all this, you must also know that my mother was father's true love. That means my affairs are father's highest priority, no matter what happens. Father will handle it for me. Eliana, you think you've won, but you've actually lost." She was half right. As she said, no matter what she did, father would handle it for Celine's sake. But that didn't mean he would succeed. Father rose from humble origins, climbing to power with support from my maternal grandfather's family. After mother died in childbirth, father cut ties with my grandfather's family to avoid being reminded of the past and feeling sad. I used to think that showed deep love. Now I realized he was the type to accept help, then turn his back on his benefactors. This position, since my grandfather helped him attain it, and he no longer deserved it nor deserved to be my father, should be returned. I looked toward the person approaching me and smiled. The person I was waiting for had arrived. "Eliana greets grandfather. I received your letter. You've done well. I'll send people to bring you over." The day I was reborn, I secretly did two things. First, I investigated Celine. Second, I wrote to my grandfather seeking reconciliation. In my letter, I mentioned that I could use my own abilities to make those who wronged me pay the price, showing grandfather that I possessed the capabilities of our Laurent family bloodline. Exposing Celine's identity not only dragged Rowena down, but also severely damaged father's reputation. If grandfather impeached him as well, the position of Minister of Justice would change hands. Having done all this, any informed person would think I was extending an olive branch to grandfather. But I wasn't. I simply wanted grandfather's power, but I wasn't in a hurry to leave the Ashford household. "Grandfather, I am not ready to return yet." The elderly man with gray hair, dignified and profound, looked at me with flickering eyes. Why, don't you want to? I do want to return to grandfather's side, but I have unfinished business. Grandfather looked at me deeply, expectation hidden in his gaze. What business? I want to investigate mother's cause of death. Grandfather's face, usually calm as an ancient well, finally showed emotion. He reached out and gripped my shoulders tightly, his eyes boring into mine as if trying to see through me completely. I met his gaze without evasion, looking back at him firmly and steadily, speaking each word clearly. If father truly loved mother deeply, he wouldn't have fathered a child the same age as me with another woman. Unless father was lying from the beginning, he could marry mother for status, and he could kill mother for someone else. I was pulled into a powerful embrace, then a scalding tear fell on my forehead. Good child, you are truly worthy of being a Laurent descendant. Your mother's spirit would be deeply comforted. The banquet ended in chaos. The butler approached me, instructed by father to take me to his study. I knew what awaited me, but I held grandfather's golden token in my hand. I could protect myself. As I followed the butler, I whispered to myself, Eliana, don't be afraid. You are not alone now. You have grandfather. A cold voice interrupted my thoughts. Eliana. I turned to see a figure in dark robes standing beneath a tree. The young man had a jade-like bearing and handsome features, his dark eyes watching me quietly. This was my cousin whom I hadn't seen in 10 years, commander of the Imperial Guard, Nathaniel Laurent. I remembered him because after I died, he collected my corpse. In the mass grave, he retrieved me and gave me a final shred of dignity. I was grateful to him. Eliana greets cousin. He approached me. My mother hasn't seen you in so long. She misses you. Come home with me. He emphasized those last few words. My mind turned for a moment. I actually felt that this cousin, rumored to be cold, blooded, and ruthless, was helping me. He wanted to take me away, to help me avoid the coming storm. I was still considering when the butler answered before me. Lord Nathaniel, this humble servant is following my master's orders to bring the young miss to the study. Leave. Nathaniel spoke 2 soft words. The butler's whole body trembled. No wonder. Who wouldn't fear the notorious Imperial Guard? The butler took a deep breath and forced himself to speak again. My master. His voice sounded like he was about to cry, but Nathaniel gave neither him nor his master any face. He can leave too. Nathaniel's response was characteristically concise. I suppressed my smile. Thank you, cousin, but there are matters at home I must handle. I'll visit to apologize another day. With that, I followed the relieved butler and took 2 steps. My wrist was seized by a large hand. I turned and collided with the cold depths of his eyes. Eliana, reconsider. His cool voice carried a trace of panic. I showed him the edge of the golden token from my sleeve. Brother, don't worry, I can handle this. He stared at me for a long time before finally releasing my hand. In the study, father hurled a book from his desk at my face. You ungrateful wretch, you heartless creature. My heart contracted sharply for a moment. I almost wanted to cry, but I quickly suppressed that inappropriate emotion. I wondered if father would ever know that one day. His most beloved daughter would personally send him to prison to await death. Would he regret today's actions? Would he regret calling me heartless? When you brought Rowena into this household, you should have anticipated this day. If not me, it would have been someone else. Are you truly this vicious? This is your own sister. I am your biological father today. You are so eager to destroy us. Father rose from his desk and approached me, fury radiating from him. You vile creature. I raised you for 16 years, 16 full years. Even raising a dog would have created some bond. You thing worse than a beast. What face do you have to continue living? Better to die. He harbored murderous intent. Unable to follow through, his rage burned unabated as he raised his hand and struck my face hard. Those words were extremely ugly. That slap was utterly cold. Blooded, my body staggered, nearly falling. As I looked up, I saw Rowena behind him, smirking. Father, please sit and rest. Unlike sister who angers you, I only care about your health. Rowena, you are such an understanding child. I've secured your marriage to the young lord. You'll be wed soon. Go prepare yourself. His voice speaking to Rowena bore none of the harshness he'd shown me. He was impossibly gentle with Rowena. Fortunately, through past and present lives, I had seen father's true nature. That slap had severed our father-daughter bond. When I raised my head, tears filled my eyes. This daughter knows her error. Please forgive me, father. Please forgive me, fourth sister. To atone for my mistakes, I am willing to personally teach fourth sister proper etiquette. In my previous life, I had lowered my head to Rowena only after resistance proved futile. This life, I employed the same tactic. Rowena was suspicious, but the joy of seeing me bow overwhelmed her caution. She eagerly persuaded father for a long time until he finally agreed to let me personally teach her etiquette. Sister, live with me, by candlelight. I saw ambition and malice bloom in Rowena's eyes. Very well. As I stepped out of the hall, the old Ileana died completely. I would make father witness his beloved daughter's true nature with his own eyes. When he placed his hopes in me, I would leave him in complete despair, regretting his choices for the rest of his life. Over the following days, Rowena lowered her guard against my obedience. On Mother's death anniversary, I went alone to the courtyard where she once lived. Ash from burning paper money filled the sky. The night was quiet. My voice was just loud enough for the person hiding around the corner to hear. Mother, father told me things I don't understand. He said his kindness to Rowena is all an act. I don't believe it. He clearly loves Rowena so much. How could it be an act? Father also told me to stay away from Rowena. He said she is a bad person who will one day get our entire family imprisoned. He said he didn't want me teaching Rowena etiquette at all, fearing she would harm me. Mother, I am so confused. Should I trust father? A jade pendant shattered on the ground around the corner. Immediately, a dark shadow flashed past. I wiped away my tears and called out sharply, "Who is there?" When I walked over, I only saw fragments of jade on the ground that hadn't been fully collected. I closed my eyes and sniffed carefully. The wind still carried Rowena's favorite peony fragrance. She had heard those words. Rowena was vengeful. After her rebirth, she hadn't changed her nature. She still harbored years of accumulated resentment and struck back at the Ashford family. How could such a person have any genuine feelings for the father who truly loved her? I followed her into the study and personally witnessed her planting forged letters in father's books and stealing documents from father's hidden compartment. That night, a massive fire broke out. The flames spread from father's courtyard. His secret guards risked their lives to carry the unconscious father from the burning building. Nathaniel arrived with his people quickly. In just 1 hour, they identified Rowena as the culprit. When father regained consciousness, he heard Rowena shrieking. He was never a good man. He deceived my mother, deceived me. What is wrong with me killing him? I personally witnessed tears welling in his eyes. You see, manipulating human hearts is simple. You need only grasp their character weaknesses. Even a crude trap full of obvious flaws can still ensnare someone vengeful and overconfident. After a long silence, father slowly spoke. Rowena, were you manipulated? Did someone deceive you? My body stiffened, struck as if by thunder, unable to move. I looked up to meet father's sharp, examining gaze. Ginger is indeed spicier with age. I steadied my mind and waited to see what would unfold. At his words, Rowena immediately looked at me. It was you. Impossible. You don't have such cunning. I almost laughed. I had walked through death's door. How could I still be the naive young lady I once was? I don't know what you were talking about. I smiled. I always knew you were foolish, but I didn't know you were evil too. These words enraged her. Rowena charged at me without hesitation, and we began grappling. Perfect. I smiled slightly, deliberately tearing at her sleeve. Before everyone's eyes, a yellow document fell from her wide sleeve. Rowena's face turned deathly pale. She quickly crouched to pick up the document and hide it in her sleeve. But it was too late. That voice, which had been impossibly gentle to her, now turned ice. Cold. Bring it here. I watched them leisurely. Rowena still struggled, frozen for a long time before forcing an awkward smile. It is nothing. In father's eyes, disappointment finally appeared. Complete and utter disappointment, along with confusion, pain, and inner struggle. Silence reigned for a moment before father spoke again in a heavy voice. Will you hand it over yourself, or shall I have someone search you? Such disregard for Rowena's reputation. Father was truly disappointed in her, having grown accustomed to their deep father-daughter bond. Seeing them suddenly turn against each other felt strange. Rowena finally knelt down in fear and terror. Father, I was wrong. Father said nothing, merely waving his hand lightly. Someone stepped forward to search her. Rowena cried in fright. Father, I am to be Lady Sebastian. How can you treat me this way? You audacious servants. How dare you? You all deserve death. I'll have your lives. The document was handed to father. He opened it, read the contents, and his expression changed. You stole my criminal case files. Who are you taking them to? Naturally, to your enemies. Rowena had calculated well. Marry into House Fernwood and sever ties with the Ashford family. Then frame father for treason and deliver the Justice Ministry's important case files to his enemies. That is how the Ashford family ended up completely destroyed. All 9 degrees of kinship implicated. Father, this is all Liliana's scheme. Only now did she realize, unfortunately, it was already too late. True ginger grows spicier with age. But there is more to that saying, isn't there? New waves of the Yangtze River pushed the old waves forward. I walked forward anxiously, moving my sleeve from my face to reveal tear tracks. Father, I've been in fourth sister's room the whole time, copying the woman's instructions for her. The servants can all testify. I never left. It was finally my turn to play the pitiful White Lotus, Rowena said through gritted teeth. Father, you suspected earlier that I was manipulated and misled by others. I am indeed foolish and ignorant. After your reminder, I understood. This is all elder sister's scheme. She pointed at me, her lips moving rapidly as she poured out everything in one breath. It was her. She lured me to Floating Cloud Court, then said many things about how dissatisfied you were with me. Father, I was momentarily possessed and lost my head, believing her words. She grabbed my hand, her bloodshot eyes staring at me intently. Elder sister, if I've done anything to displease you, just tell me and I'll correct it. Why go to such lengths to set this trap for me? She suddenly raised her head with a look of realization. Elder sister, could it be that you are jealous of Father's affection for me? Is that why you are sowing discord and setting this vicious trap to ensnare me? Rowena possessed some cleverness, but not much. In the past, such words might have swayed Father's thinking. But today, Father was already disappointed in her. I need only expose what was in the study, and no matter how silver-tongued Rowena might be, she couldn't explain it away. Before that, I needed to lay the groundwork. I prepared my emotions. Carefully looking at Father, I said, Father, when you suspected fourth sister was manipulated, you also heard her personally admit that I don't have such cunning. Moreover, I grew up at your knee with a straightforward temperament. I am clearly not someone with deep schemes. If I were calculating, how would I have openly conflicted with fourth sister so many times? This was why I had always openly targeted Rowena, whether locked in the woodshed or slapped across the face. I wanted to project an image of someone without guile, impulsive and easily provoked. Father pondered for a moment. When he raised his head again, the sharpness in his eyes had diminished somewhat. I knew I had won. Rowena panicked. As she tried to speak, I beat her to it. I cried piteously, gripping her hand and asking repeatedly, Fourth sister, I am already a child without a mother. Now I've even given you Father. To make Father happy, I've even tried to please you. Why do you want to completely destroy me and frame me like this? Rowena froze in place, dumbstruck. I had completely blindsided her. I kept close watch on Father's demeanor. Between his brows, emotion stirred. Today is Aurelia's death anniversary. I knelt down. In the letter Mother left behind, besides telling me to take care of myself, she asked me to be filial to Father, care for Father, and protect Father. I've failed Mother's trust. Please punish me, Father. Father let out a heavy sigh. I wondered what prompted that sigh. Rowena, I believe I've treated you well, yet you harbor such malicious intent. The Ashford family can no longer keep you. Rowena's body swayed. She simply threw caution to the wind, lifting her skirts to kneel beside me. Father, my mother waited for you for 15 years. As an unmarried woman, she knew and loved you. Spent 15 years as your mistress outside, enduring cold mockery and ridicule from neighbors. Even I couldn't hold my head up growing up. You said you owed her and would make it up to me. Today, will you go back on your word? This fool. Such words spoken privately might make Father reconsider. But revealing Father's mistress and illegitimate daughter before hundreds of ears, wasn't this slapping Father's face? She still didn't understand Father as well as I did. Having grown up in the Ashford household as the legitimate daughter, my father valued reputation above all else. Otherwise, why would he have hidden his mistress for so many years? Why bring his daughter home only under the guise of adoption? Insolent creature. You are nothing but an orphan I picked up on the roadside. I took pity on you and brought you home. In his rage, Father rose from his chair and struck her hard across the face. Harder than when he hit me. Rowena's face swelled dramatically, blood seeping from the corner of her mouth. She suddenly stopped crying, stopped making noise, stopped creating a scene. She just stared at Father like that. I knew what she was plotting. It didn't matter that the document had been recovered. The forged letters about treason were still in the study. But how could I let her have her way? I spoke softly. Father, let this matter rest. In the future, have more people guard the study. Don't let just anyone enter so easily. This time it was Sister who went in, but next time if someone with malicious intent enters, who knows what they might do? My words made two people's faces change color. Father immediately rose and rushed to his study. Rowena stood as well, but was blocked by guards. Rowena trembled in fear. I am finished, completely finished. I leaned close and whispered, an illegitimate daughter who can't be acknowledged. What makes you think you can compete with a gentlewoman of the capital raised for over a decade? She scoffed. What do you know? So what if you are reborn? I smiled faintly, speaking each word clearly under her shocked gaze. Good cannot be suppressed by evil. You are reaping what you sowed. She had no time to throw a tantrum. Father returned, his face livid. Rowena was thrown into prison. This time, I went to see her. Rowena died in prison. Her death was extremely gruesome, her suffering extreme. Mosquitoes, insects, and rats gnawed at her for an entire night. Her screams of pain and anguish echoed throughout the night. Everyone in the prison was terrified by those bone-chilling sounds. Yet not a single person went to check on her, because I had used grandfather's golden token to issue an order forbidding anyone from approaching Rowena at night. When the jailers went to check on her the next day, only her skeleton remained. When father came to find me, I was feeding fish by the pond. Rowena's crimes were heinous. Such an end is not unjust. However, for a woman to act so ruthlessly, isn't it excessive? I turned with a smile. Father only now realizes your daughter is ruthless. He paused, frowning. Never mind. You are my daughter after all. I'll guide you properly from now on. First, give me that golden token. For a young woman, such a thing will only bring disaster. Oh no, I still need it. There are still people I haven't dealt with. His anger flared. Will you ever be satisfied? Your mother was gentle and kind. How could she have given birth to someone as ruthless as you? That is why mother was killed by you and that courtesan. My bright smile formed a stark contrast to his ashen face. Father, without ruthlessness, how can one survive? Rowena is indeed dead. Now it is your turn. As my words fell, I raised the golden token and commanded coldly, lock him in the woodshed. Father shook with rage. You vile creature, what are you doing? The woodshed is dark and cold inside, but don't be afraid. Father, I'll have your courtesan keep you company. When Celine was brought and locked in the woodshed, she cursed me all night. The next day, she was thirsty and hungry. I brought 1 steamed bun and 1 cup of water. Celine glared at me. There are 2 of us and you bring 1 person's worth. How are we supposed to eat? I sneered. What does that have to do with me? Father said coldly from the side. Celine, don't talk to her. She has the golden token, but she won't be arrogant for long. After several days without the minister attending court, His Majesty will surely send people to investigate. So that was his plan. Unfortunately, it was in vain. I had already sent word to grandfather. Celine thoughtfully brought the bun and water to father. My lord, I am not hungry. You eat. Father's eyes welled with tears. Celine, I haven't loved you in vain. I sneered. Let's see how far this marital devotion extends. 7 days passed. According to the servants' reports, by the 4th day, Celine had stopped sharing food. However, without food, the weakened woman couldn't compete with the stronger father. He seized the food. On the 7th day, when Celine lay weakly on the ground, barely alive, I finally visited the woodshed. Just then, I heard Celine's thread-like voice. You, hypocrite, you won't have a good end. I ordered someone to pour ginseng soup down her throat. I sat in a chair 3 steps away from them. Father tried to rush forward but was tripped by the chains on his feet, falling directly to his knees before me. Ignoring the pain, he demanded, What did you do? 7 full days. Why hasn't the court sent anyone to find me? I smiled faintly. Father, haven't you thought about what you've done? He froze, then calmed down from his agitation, finally realizing his mistake. That one mistake was enough to bring him down. Celine, I've already captured the physician you hired for my mother. He has confessed that on your orders, he gave my mother excessive supplements, causing her to have a difficult birth that killed her. Father, you knew, but allowed it to happen. You are an accomplice. Now, only one of you can live. Choose. I threw a dagger at Father's feet. He quickly picked up the dagger and gripped it. Celine cowered in the corner in fear. I watched Father's face turn from green to white. Finally, his lips trembling, he said to Celine, Rest in peace. I will avenge you. I glanced at Celine, who had wet herself in fear, and burst into laughter. Father raised the knife and stabbed Celine to death in one thrust. I clapped my hands as I approached. When it comes to ruthlessness, no one surpasses you. He looked at me coldly. Release your father now. I am sorry, I misspoke earlier. Neither of you gets to live. Father stood stunned. Then a vicious light flashed in his eyes as he raised the dagger and lunged at me. I didn't move. The person behind me swiftly acted, kicking him to the ground and seizing the dagger, then driving it through his palm, pinning it to the floor. Don't you know how to dodge? I knew brother was behind me. Nathaniel paused and turned away. Among the death row inmates, we found a woman whose build and features closely resemble yours. Everything is prepared. I nodded. Father, you failed to maintain household discipline and murdered your legitimate wife. You are also suspected of treason. Will you do this yourself, or shall I poison you mute and hand you to the authorities? Father slumped to the ground in defeat. He happened to settle into the shaft of light streaming through the window. I didn't know what he was thinking. I only knew that when he finally raised his head, The look in his eyes was impossibly gentle, exactly like how he looked at me before I turned 10, a loving father's gaze. As he drove the dagger into his chest, Nathaniel covered my eyes. I heard in barely audible voice, "In this life, I've made too many mistakes. Regret comes too late. I only hope my daughter lives a bright and brilliant life." My teeth chattered slightly. The harm he caused Mother and me could never be erased. Killing him was inevitable, but the kindness he once showed me couldn't be ignored either. I let him take his own life. At least he wouldn't suffer the torture of falling into the Imperial Guard's hands. He could die more peacefully. With my great revenge complete, I changed my appearance and went to Yangzhou. Before I left, Nathaniel tried to make me stay. "Can you not go? Can you protect me for a moment? Or protect me for a lifetime?" He nodded firmly. I smiled bitterly. "You can't. If I stay in the capital, I am a ticking time bomb for you and grandfather. I can't remain here, and you can't resign your position to leave with me. This is how it must be." When I left, Nathaniel's eyes reddened. From the boat, I waved to him. "I can live well. In this life, one must ultimately rely on oneself. Others' companionship and help can illuminate a stretch of road, but won't light the entire long journey of life. This road is difficult and long, but I must walk it myself." Eliana Ashford. Keep walking. Don't stop. The end.